All right, welcome back to the We Not I podcast. Today I'm pleased to introduce my friend Jerome Moore, fellow Nashville uh, full on media personality, TV host, podcast host, now author, and all. Jerome, thanks for being here today.
Nah, man, I appreciate you having me on and just, hey, man, congratulations to you and everything that you've been able to do and diving into, man. I just around the mental health space and I'm still gonna get out there on that hockey ring with you
Yes.
sooner than later. I'm telling you, I'm gonna live my Mighty Ducks dreams with you, man, for sure.
Yeah, for sure. We'll take a couple slap shots together, get
Hey,
it going.
hey, man, let me just get on this. Let me just be able to stand up.
Yeah, right on. Cool, man. Yeah, I was thinking about this, and there's no one I know that's got a better pulse on Nashville, and how lucky I was to meet you in my
Yeah,
first year moving here. So it's been awesome to call you a new friend, and
for sure.
um, for my listeners that don't know you, you're communicating and connecting and interviewing a lot of powerful people and social change makers, and really have a pulse on Nashville and Tennessee as a whole, and kind of social change and in a lot of different elements. But if you had to give yourself like a little elevator pitch on what it is that you do, the many hats that you wear, what
Yeah,
would you
man.
say?
Man, I just been really conditioned it to like I'm just an explorer of social change. That's it, man. I just explore. I don't have all the answers. Like because of my background, some people may say I have some type of expertise in just community development, community organizing. But man, I'm just an explorer of social change, just curious of what is happening, what are people's perspectives, and just leaning into all of that, man. I think for me, um being a person that from Nashville, born and raised, but had the opportunity to do Peace Corps and live abroad in other countries outside of Peace Corps, man, it just really helped my development and really helped me become an explorer, right? And literally an explorer. And so I just channeled all that into like what I cared about, man, and finding my lane, finding my voice, finding what that means for me, and I can just tackle that, right? And there's nothing more, I think, like refreshing when you know your lane, when you know kind of your purpose and like what you're meant to do personally, you figure that out, like you unstoppable, right? Because that never wavers and nobody can really kind of knock you off of that and try to get you to do things that maybe you may be good at, but that's really not like you or where you are. And so, man, I'm just blessed that I was able to figure that out, man. And it was a journey. But yeah, man, just an explorer of social change and yeah, yeah, man. That's kind of that. I like that exploring word. For me, it's like it's more fascinating.
Yeah, totally. I like how you put it, where you find your passion. I think that's something a lot of people can take from, and doors just open up for you, and people want to be around you, and people want to help you, and that's definitely what I've seen from you, from my perspective of all of this networking, and people reaching in, trying to help, trying to promote the
Yeah,
podcast and your platform, and
yeah,
it was amazing to go to your live podcast event, where
yeah.
you had all kinds of members of the community coming together in person. Like,
Hmm.
I don't know what the count was, but it had to be, over
Like
100 or close to 200 people. Like,
yeah, it was like
wicked
for
impressive.
yeah over 200 people, and the goal was to like get it like completely sold out of 300. But that was in the midst of like who a tornado warning, and
True.
so I had a lot of people that like bought tickets that just didn't attend because they was coming from different counties and stuff where the tornado and the weather was a little more severe than it was in Nashville. So man, it was amazing turnout, man, and I appreciate you coming. But and I know you was able to make some connections there while you was there, man. That's the whole point, man. Like for me, it's about whatever I do, trying to bring community with me, you know and hopefully if you can do that, like things will happen, right? And so you can never lose. I think if you bring a community with you in any space and whatever you do, like you can never lose no matter what you go through, the ups and downs. Like community remembers, like, oh, Jerome or Garrison or whoever brought community with them. So like let's have his back, let's have her back, and go from there. So that's how I'm about, man. Like
Yeah.
I didn't like I just enjoy that part of it for me, and just always want to just stay rooted in community, no matter what I do, whatever it is like got to bring community with me.
And it's wicked cool. And I know personally for me, like what I took from that event is it seemed like there's people from all different types of walks of life
Hmm.
at your event, sharing all different perspectives. And for me, living only in Nashville for like a year and hearing all these different sides of um, not only the like evolution of Nashville being such a fast growing city and just all the other dynamics in place just really made me feel like kind of a local for the first time or like that community because I mean
Yeah.
I'm a transplant and there's a ton of us here and
Hmm.
especially I mean working at Vanderbilt now I feel a little bit more Nashville pride but remote working at first didn't you get where I'm going but
Yeah, but
it
man,
was nice to,
man, like having transplants, man, like there's always pros and cons, right? To like when there's an influx of just new people in general.
mm,
But man, I tend to just to lean into the like, okay, how can that be helpful, right? Like, how can somebody that's coming from a New York or California or Chicago or wherever kind of be beneficial and help Nashville move forward, or help any city that you're currently
right
living in move forward, because different lived experiences, right? And we might not always agree on everything, right? And maybe you moved to Nashville because you didn't agree with whatever was going on in your city, right? But I think there's always something we can take and learn from. But like we gotta just be intentional about that. And I think even myself, maybe initially, a lot of times, like being from Nashville, we can kind of be put off like, these transplants moving here, and jamming up
mm,
our traffic and everything. They don't really know Nashville, and kind of thinking more like, okay, like, yeah, they're here. They may be causing more traffic, but like, what can I pull from them being from other cities, maybe bigger cities, different cities, more diverse, the culturally like diverse cities. Like, what can we bring? What can I learn from them? How can we be in dialogue together to make Nashville better, and also just be able to be educated, right? And just be like,
mhm,
hey, this is kind of what has happened in this community. Did this happen where you're from, or how did y'all deal and navigate these things? So, man, I just lean into those things, we all got to be intentional about it. It's easy just for us to be like set in our ways and say, no, this is the way it is. This is the way it's gonna be. This is what I feel most comfortable with, and just go with that. So I try to be like really intentional about not thinking that way and kind of put myself in a space to where I lean into something that may be discomfort, or just be able to just think outside the box and not be narrow minded, right?
mm. Yeah, there's always something to learn from everyone, no matter kind
Yeah.
of how it looks like for sure.
Yeah, yeah, man, for sure.
And you mentioned the Peace Corps, but can you
Hmm.
take us back a little bit to like your growing up and your story in Nashville and kind of who Jerome was as a kid and high
Yeah,
school.
man. Man, I thought as a kid, man, I thought I was going straight to the NBA, man. Lottery pick. I was that good. I was that talented, like undeniable. But life happens. Things happen or whatever. But not nothing like bad or tragic, man. Just you stop growing, and or just a lot of other like just politics, family stuff happens, and so me going to the NBA clearly didn't happen, but man, growing up, man, I think just growing up in North Nashville, man, I just got into it what everybody else typically does, sports, get a little trouble here and there. Nothing devastating that, ruined my life, but potentially could have though. At the same time, just man, like had to have a guardian angel, man. I
Right.
wasn't always the person that I am today as far as like being able to think clearly through things, social and emotional behavior, learning how to navigate, your own reactions, right? And just as men, right, that's something as boys we have to figure out and learn how to do or whatnot. Regardless of where you grew up. And so, man, just it was good, man, growing up in Nashville, man. Just it was I grew up in, a primarily black community. So when we talk about like, race and all of these other social constructs and things, man, they really didn't you really don't feel that as a kid because like you just see everybody that look like you, talk to you, that's not on your mind, right? And your parents are not kind of like throwing that in your face or be like, hey, you got to watch out for, these white folks or, anything like that, or white supremacy. Like that wasn't, you know what I'm saying? That wasn't the case, even though it existed, that wasn't like the, just in your face. And as you get older and you learn about just the history of our country, right? Then you start just having questions about things. But man, man, went to high school, went to MTSU for college. Went to Tribeca, got my master's in business, man, and yeah, like since like I didn't know, like a lot of people like you probably get this question too a lot. A lot of people say, "Hey, did you know you'll be doing what you're doing now?" Like, man, I would have never been able to write this script, never, like never, man. When I went to college, I went to college just because I feel like it's something I had to do. It was like a conditioning, like I had to go here to be able to be successful, or be able to get opportunities to be successful, right? I didn't know I'd be doing this media stuff or community stuff like that. Wasn't I didn't have that kind of influence directly in my family or my community, right? That was not on my mind. And so man, I just kind of again just kind of found like, hey, I care about community. What does that look like for me? And then Peace Corps kind of changed everything, man. If it wasn't for Peace Corps, I don't know if I'd be doing what I'm doing now, or in the way that I'm doing it. And I did Peace Corps in Paraguay, which is right below Brazil in South America, man. A little country that I did not hear about, didn't know about until I did Peace Corps. And after that, man, once I was able to stick my pinky toe into that international waters, man, it just kind of took off, and I learned so much about myself, my blackness, my Americanness, my privilege that I have outside of the country, other things social and economically that are happening in other parts of the world and other communities, man. And that really kind of just jump started my kind of, you know, explore lifestyle and kind of social change in community and what that looks like.
Yeah, and the media side of it all, I think we talked before. That started when you were traveling, right?
Yeah, man, that started in China. Yeah, if I
Wow.
if I had to go do it again, man, I just should have been a YouTuber, like just a travel YouTuber, man. Because I was living like I think I was in Paraguay doing Peace Corps, man. I lived in Costa Rica. I was a director for an NGO, community economic director for an
Wow.
NGO in Costa Rica, and then like right after that, I went to China and did the same thing for freelance for a year, and did actually worked for a year with a nonprofit, and then the second year I just freelanced. It was independent, and that's when I started kind of doing my media stuff, man. I was meeting all these fascinating people in China from all over the world. And I was like, man, like you're from Quebec, or you're from, Ghana, or you're from Uganda, or you from Croatia, Ukraine, Russia, like all of these places that, like I just didn't think I had proximity to like these people, like the how close I was, and then you get to start talking about like they know a lot more about America than we typically do
Yeah.
about their country, right? And then so you start getting into that, man, and that really said, hey, I need to start like putting this on camera. I need to start highlight these projects that are going on that Chinese citizens are doing. And that's where it started for me, man. And that's when I just kind of dived into the media kind of side of just social change and community, and really trying to fill a void for me. It was like, hey, I don't see this on TV. I don't see
Right.
people talking about this. And so I was like, man, people should know like this work is happening all across the world. And
Wow.
so, man, my goal was to always have like a Anthony Bourdain, Mike Rowe, Dirty Jobs kind of compilation, but centered around like community, right? And do something like that on a TV level. So that's still the goal, man. And just inching my way towards that, man. National
Yeah.
Geographic, Travel Channel, Discovery Channel, one of them, man.
Hey man, you're doing it. And where's the pizza come in? The slice of community.
Well,
How'd you come up with that?
yeah, man. What's crazy is pizza is my favorite food, man.
All
It
right.
is undeniably my favorite food, and I just truly believe to this day, if you get all of your world leaders and people across the world, and you give them their favorite pizza, man, you probably can get world peace. Real quick. You know what I'm saying? And if you're a human being, if you're a human being on this planet, right, and you don't like pizza, I will question your human beingness. I don't care. You can't be. You're not from planet Earth. Right, but but yeah, man, that's just where it came in at, and like it was catchy. You know what I'm saying? Like you always need to get catchy name, and like deep dish conversations. It was just it just. I'm gonna tell you how this happened, man. I'm gonna walk you through it. All right.
Uh,
And so, for the listeners who may not know, like, okay, I have a popular podcast and platform called Deep Dish Conversations. Just so happened that we have a Genos East where we had one in Nashville, right? And I was like, cool, like Deep Dish piece of bet, cool. And I just returned back to, I think I visited there when I was visiting Nashville. Then I moved back from China at the end of 2019, right before the pandemic hit China in that December, right? And then it hit us in March of 2020. And then we had a tornado and everything else here in Nashville. But I was like, hey man, I really want to do this like podcast thing, and media stuff. And many people don't notice I had a very popular podcast already called Black Americans Making Their Mark Stories Abroad. Like that international, like really popular, right? But it was to have a travel component. And clearly people are not
mm,
traveling during the pandemic, right?
yeah, true.
Um myself included. And so, man, I wrote them a proposal. I wrote Geno's East a proposal. Um, and say, hey, this is what I'm trying to do. This is how I like to do it. And man, the stars just aligned up because it's a restaurant. It was a pandemic. Nobody's in the restaurant now, so they allowed me to use the restaurant completely free of charge and provide the pizza. Right. And I was thinking about a name for the podcast, and I was like, okay, I know I wanted to do something with pizza and conversations. And Geno's East is right. They kind of Chicago deep dish, right? And so I thought
Yeah.
about like deep dish conversations just roll off better than like pizza and conversation. And like the conversations itself are deep, right? We want to take a deep dive, man. And so that's how that played out, man. Like that's just how it played out. It just, man, if it wasn't like, I don't know if it wasn't for the pandemic that I would have been able to do this in the way that I've done it, and for it to take off as quick as it did, because it was just timing, man. It was just really timing where Nashville was and kind of where it was going and how polarizing Tennessee was becoming. And
Mm,
even the country, right? Because then you had the George Floyd thing that happened, right? That summer. You had Breonna Taylor. You had all of these things kind of happening, all like simultaneously and like during the pandemic at that. And so, man, it just kind of, I just kind of hit it right on the money, man, and just leveraged all of my community contacts and relationships that I've already had from doing the work, right? And so it was kind of like it was just meant to be, man. It was just meant to be, and
So,
here I am.
so you're in an empty pizza shop recording, bringing guests in during COVID.
Yep.
Dang.
Yeah, man. You can't
Yeah.
and that happened for like 2 years. You know,
Wow.
yeah, a year and a half because we put out the first. We was recording in the summer of 2020. We put out the first episode in December 2020, and then we did it again. It's the second season in 2021. Yep,
Wow.
exactly. And so I didn't move into the studio that you seen and everything where your
Mhm.
office and stuff was until like the fall of 2021 because Geno's East closed because of the pandemic. And so
Wow.
everything that everything that I have is like pandemic related, right? And then like
Mhm.
they leave, and so now I got to figure out like, damn, I need my own space, and so
Totally.
hence I had to get my own studio and stuff. So yeah, man, just it was a crazy like 2020, 2021, and then like going to 2022, it was a blessing, man. Because if I didn't get my own space, I probably would have been content
Hmm.
at Geno's as far as like I wouldn't have been able to do the number of episodes at the rapid pace that I was doing because I'm still on the Geno's East schedule. When can I come in? All
Right.
of these things where, when you got your own space, 24/7, I can record at 6 a.m. or 6 p.m.
Hmm.
As many people as I want to. So yeah, man. So I just like once I got my own space in studio and then I was like, I'm paying for this. Yeah, I'm gonna do as many episodes as possible every single day.
Oh man. Yeah, I hear you. It kind of motivates you more when you got that and you're in your own area.
Oh yeah. I mean, I wasn't doing it for like no hobby. You know what I'm saying? Some
Mhm.
people podcasts like it's something like some people like podcasting is hard. Media in general is difficult, especially to like monetize from it, right? And you have like some people started because they're using it as a marketing lead to promote something that they already experienced, have a following from,
Right.
right? And then you have some people who are trying to build a business based on podcasts, and that is man, that is difficult, especially if you don't have a existing audience that you're carrying over to the podcasting space. Like most of our popular podcasting hosts and shows, they're
Mhm.
coming from like already being famous from a different area, right? That may be entertainment related or whatever it may be, academia related, and they just say, "Hey, I'm gonna put this in the form of podcast and just talk more to audience in this kind of audio form." But yeah, man, it's difficult,
Yeah, especially like a one man show where you gotta record, edit, post, promote,
man.
clip, and do everything.
Man, well, hey, shout out to people who do that, man, because
Mm.
it is not. It takes a lot of time and effort, especially if you're not making money from it, right? Because like people know you just don't instantly make money from podcasting unless, like, again, you just coming from something else and you do like, hey, like you already just got a big brand from something else and you just putting it on the podcast now, man. But other than that, it's like it is hard, it is tough.
Mm. Well, yeah, that was. I kind of want to segue a little bit into some of the people that you've interviewed, and
Yeah,
you're real deep in the community, but you're also
hmm,
really connected to
yeah,
government leaders and nonprofits and kind of all these people of power in Nashville.
hmm,
Um, what do you think from your view, like on the I don't want to say like a disconnect, but what do you think about the relationship between like policymakers and the people? And
yeah. I think it's a huge disconnect. Like we gotta think about it. Like I don't think like it's like policy making is complex and it's slow, right? And so when you think about just like local government, city government, right? It's you gotta think about it. State legislation in general is only in session like for a couple months out the entire year, right? 3 to 4 months, something like that, right? And so that's what they're doing. That's what we get all of the performative stuff like that we see and everything. But after that, you don't really hear too much from them or see them. There's no need. Like they go to their respective cities where they living that the constituents that they represent, and that's it. And so when you talking about policy making from like a regular citizen, everyday person, it's like they might care about the big headline stuff, right? But most people are not don't know kind of what bills and stuff are happening or passing until they happen, until it's in effect,
right,
right? And again, a lot of these times the things are not like we can't even vote on, right? This is state legislative stuff voting on these policies or bills or whatever. Just yes or no, and then they have a debate about it. That's what we see the performative part of it, right? And so I just think like it's so much, right? And that's why you have dedicated people, right, who actually work every day to try to inform and make people aware on a community level, like what's happening, what's going on. But man, like it's so much to examine and unpack when it comes to policy making, and it's just a slow process. Like it's not something that happens overnight. It's a long term goal to get policy, to get new policy. If we want to come up and to work with a state legislator or whatever and say, hey, we want a new policy or we want to amend something, that
yeah,
takes
you want to try it?
yeah, well,
Let's.
man,
All
that
right.
takes
No, let me just throw an example. So, say I wanted to, like in Massachusetts, they passed like a Fresh Air Act for mental health hospitals. So, say you and I were like, we think that every mental hospital in Tennessee should allow patients to get fresh air.
yeah, yeah, that
What
would
do we got
like,
to do?
yeah. Well, we have to say, okay, look, we gotta, because we gotta get the bill sponsored. We gotta get it sponsored by somebody on the floor, right? So we gotta identify that person, and then it's like, how do we get that? How do we get that bill passed? Or how do we work on that until they come back in session to vote on it?
Hmm.
It's a lot of like it's a lot of waiting, right? And it's a lot of like technical work that it takes specific skilled people to be able to write up policy, right? And to be able to do those things. And so, man, it's and then it's like getting community saying, okay, email your state representative or a senator to vote or pass this bill, right? So it's like that part of it, man, and it's a lot. Like most man, it's like most people. I would say the majority of everyday people, man, they don't know what the hell is going on. Like
Yeah.
they just know the surface, the headlines, what they see on Fox, NBC, or CNN, or
Mm.
whatever news they watch, and that's kind of it.
Yeah. I wish there was like a simple way to like understand, and or if like the representatives, instead of emailing and calling, and like I feel like this is, it's so dated of a way to do things.
Man, like social media helps a little bit, you know what I'm saying? Because you can kind of get the information, but again, like you gotta just happen to be following the right people, scroll down and see it. But you
Mm,
gotta think, man, so many people are living like paycheck to paycheck, minimum wage, facing poverty, not housed, or just dealing with just daily struggles of just life, man. Most people don't
mm,
have really the capacity of time to really care about things on a consistent basis, right?
mm,
And so you get them in these spurts of these favors or these phases or these big national issues. I think most people do care, but I just think the capacity of most people at the same time don't have the don't have the energy and the just the capacity themselves to just be able to focus on these things every single day, man. And that's part of capitalism, right? It's like you have to focus on making money in this particular country, which is not all bad, I don't think, but it's not like the perfect system either, because it's like if I got to worry about paying, all of these bills by the 15th, like, it
mm,
really takes a lot of time and effort and energy to really put my mind on other things, right? That's not focused on me being able to put kids in daycare, get put food on the table, buy clothes, pay for rent and utilities, and then maybe have a little bit of fun if I want to, if I can, and then kind of do it all over again month by month
mhm.
by month.
Yeah, it sounds a lot like the
Yeah, I'm like, man, but that's like that, like, and that's why we got to have grace with people,
Mm,
like, because that is a cycle, man. That is a cycle for most people. I believe is like that routine, and then if you like, man, I just want to enjoy life. I'm getting tired of like always living in these social constructs and having to focus on what I can and can't do, or based on my gender, my race, my ethnicity, all of those things, man. It's like it's a lot, man. It's unfortunate, but it is really unfortunate because it prevents us all, every last one of us, from living like a really full life, man. But it's like in this country, man, that's what it was built on. Specifically in the United States of America, man. When you found it on such a harmful kind of foundation like slavery, man, it just and then you use the color of people's skin to perpetuate harm, and it's hard to get around that, man. And it's just so unfortunate that we have to acknowledge it, and we have to kind of navigate within those things, but like it really shouldn't be that way, but you know it's unfortunate, man.
mm. And yeah, I mean, you mentioned like people's own capacity and the things that everybody's dealing with.
Hmm.
Yourself as someone that's in this world, and the news for me at least is like a lot of negativity all the time, so I'm wondering kind of how you keep your mental health in check and some of the things that you
I
do.
don't watch the news, Garrison. I don't do it. Now, man, look, like, man, like I don't try to conquer the world. I don't even try to wrap my mind around like what can I do to save the world, right? I don't
Mm,
I know my lane, and I
yeah.
know what I'm great at, and I know my own personal capacity, and I know like kind of what I want to do,
Mm,
right? And I focus on that, man. I focus on solution based things. It's
love
easy,
that.
like you mentioned, like to focus on like the negative stuff. That's
Right.
easy to do, and that's even probably more entertaining, right? That's why we probably hear more a shooting here, a shooting there, kidnapping here, like a robbery there, break-ins here, gun violence there. Like it's easy. I think they're just and those are buzzy, trendy things that like are great headlines, man. But I'd rather me personally focus on community power building content. That's what I coined my stuff on. Community power building, solution based content, because solution based discussion. right? And because that's what we want to accomplish, right? We want to come up with solutions, right?
I
You would
love
think, right?
that.
Right? We want to come up with solutions to how to combat these things, right? That we all kind of facing on different levels, right? On different spectrums, right? And so that's what I focus on, man. If it's anything outside of that, like, hey, have at it. That's why you'll never see me debate. Like, I don't want to debate
Mhm.
you, Garrison. I don't want to debate you about the best way to go about mental health. I don't want to debate you about that. I don't want to debate. But what I
Yeah.
will do is have a discussion about, okay, how do we come up with solution based things around mental health that can benefit different people on different levels? Let's
Right.
talk. Let's talk about that. That way, we might have some disagreement, which is okay. You know what I'm
Hmm.
saying? But at the same time, but it's
Yeah.
rooted
There's
in
no
positive.
winner or loser,
Yeah,
right? Yeah.
exactly. I'm not saying no, your idea sucks and my idea is better, right?
True.
When we having a discussion, right? That I just that's just not what I'm about to do, and I just feel like that's just what's the point? You know what I'm saying? Like,
Yeah.
what's the? I don't want to be adversarial with you when we try to help community. Like that don't,
Mm.
you know. And so, man, and so that's what I focus on, man. That's how I stay stress free and keep my mental health clear. And just I know me, like I know myself, like I know what I'm doing and I'm not doing, and I'm secure in myself. And man,
Yeah.
I try to stay a mystery, right? I try to stay a mystery. And what I mean by that is like, man, I don't do too much talking. Like I do a lot of listening. I don't do too much talking. I just sit back and just observe and I let people, you know what I'm saying? Like it's hard to gauge a lot of
Mm.
times. I think personally of like, would I even think about particular things unless you really come out and just ask me, right? But
Mm.
like, there's no need for me to like. It's enough opinions. It's enough
Right.
talking. I'm worried about action, solution based actions. That
Yeah.
is it.
Yeah.
Right. That is
You're.
all. I don't care about nothing else. I don't care about no Republican, Democrat, conservative, liberal, moderate, none of that stuff. You know what I'm
Mm.
saying? No, I had somebody today ask me, do you consider yourself a liberal? Right. I was like, no, I think I'm moderate, right? Which is in between, right? And just in general, I said if I had to classify myself,
Mm.
right? But I think like
Yeah.
that's what we
Yeah.
are.
I like
Yeah,
that.
if I had to, right?
Like the
I'm in the
classy.
middle because cause I'm not gonna box myself in to a particular group of people because once you do that, people
Mm.
automatically assume like that you associate yourself with everything in that grouping category and
Right.
vice versa. Which we know like that's not true. Like if you label yourself a liberal, you're not gonna agree with everything the liberal party or liberal side agrees with and vice
Right.
versa, right? And so like when we, I just like, and so man, I just try to stay hard to figure out generally, and just, but also just be man, try to be realistic and rational. Like man, we all, I might be thinking quote unquote conservatively one day, and the next day I might think liberally, but also when I'm 32 now, my views may change when I'm 42 based on my
Mm.
lived experiences when in the next 10 years.
Right. Yeah. It's interesting.
Yeah,
Uh,
man. So yeah, I just stay away from the negativity, man, and keep positive energy and people around me, man.
right. Yeah. I was gonna say too. Like, you're a big like lead by example kind of guy. Like you might not talk like, hey, I'm gonna get a book coming out, but then all of a sudden like you're doing this, you're doing that, and like I'm sure people that look up to you in your community and realize, Jerome's he's still killing it. Like there
Man,
he
look,
goes again.
I'ma just do the work. Yeah,
Yeah.
just I'ma just do the work, man. Like
Mm.
I'm just gonna care. I'm gonna do the work. Like I don't even like talking about myself a lot. Like I don't
Yeah.
like talking about my credentials or achievements. Like whatever happened, like you gotta think about this, man. I've done Peace Corps. I lived in Costa Rica. I lived in China. I lived in the Philippines. I lived, not visit. I lived in these places for a extensive period of time, right? And for a lot of people's lives, that is a lot. Like that
Yeah.
is like a lifetime of of stuff.
Yeah.
Right.
At 32.
Right. It's like a lifetime of things, right? Of just traveling experiences. But I don't wear it on my sleeve. Like that happened that allowed me to become who I am today. And I'm still
Yeah.
growing. I'm like, okay, what's next? Like, how can I
Right.
build off of that? And that's why unless people ask me about it, it's a long story in general. So unless people ask me about it, like I don't like it's a lot of like how much time do we got? You know what I'm saying? Because it's like it's a lot. And then it's like yeah, and then it's like it's not a straight path, right? It's not like it's like you just have to just it just happened. And
Right.
so yeah, man, I just try to do the work, man, and just be a genuine, authentic person. Like,
Mm.
be a good person and treat everybody with some type of respect and dignity. Um, and just lean into that, and just stay on that. If I'm a genuine down to earth person and just like treat everybody with respect and not try to act like that I'm better than you because I've done these things or do these things, like, man, I just try to be of just that person that way, and just keep on going, man.
Yeah, man, you're definitely doing it. I knocked on your door that one day, and I was like, "Yo, I have a podcast too,"
Hey,
and
man.
boom.
Yeah, man, but you know what, Garrison? Because I have my own plans and trajectory of what I want to accomplish, right? And I
Mm,
understand that at some point in life, I might not always have the ability or proximity for people just to come knock on my door, right? And then
yeah,
just through growth or life or whatever happens, right? You know what I'm saying? It just kind of just the that comes with growth sometimes. So, man, whenever there's somebody that just want to talk, whenever I can give somebody some time that I have, man, I want to do it, man. I always want to kind of stay rooted in that, regardless of my highs or my lows, man. And like, I'm not better than, like, when I say I'm not better, like, I'm not like I don't have any particular right or privilege to anything that better than anybody else or more than anyone else, right? I'm here, I'm doing the work. I just want to just stay positive and put good energy into the universe and receive good energy. And even for any haters or people who may not like me or may even done me wrong, man,
mm,
I'm not focused on those people or those individuals ever.
yeah,
Especially if they're not trying to cause me like physical harm. I'm not focused on them people. Like, may God be with them.
right.
And let me just keep on going, man, and interact with people like yourself and others who are trying to figure out this crazy world that we live in, man, and help people.
I mean, it's a beautiful way to walk through life, and I think you got a great positive spirit and attitude about you.
Yeah,
But
man. Like,
um, yeah, I was also just gonna kind of go into, like you mentioned, kind of getting out of yourself, or like some haters, and maybe people that you grew up with, or in your community might
hmm
like try to keep you down. And I know that happens sometimes in small towns, or high school people, or you
yeah,
know can you speak to somebody who's maybe like on the verge of that, or
yeah.
you see it all the time in sports, I know that, or musicians, and it's sad to see like they can't. I think like John Morant's going through it right now. I don't know too
hmm
much about that situation, but it's
Yeah.
like,
Yeah, man. It's the people that you have around you is crucial, no matter where you are in life, right? But definitely, if you know, if you see yourself, man, this is a perfect example. This just happened like a week or two ago, maybe like a week ago.
hmm,
Man, I had a good friend of mine. I'm not gonna say his name, but I have a good friend of mine, right? We grew up together. Um, and we was getting doing a lot of like just like not legal activity, right?
yeah,
Right. But at one point, at one point in my life, I said, okay, I gotta, like, man, I don't know how I made it through college. I don't know how I made it through a lot of things, man. I was just into, I was in deep. I was in deep, but I made a decision like, hey, man, I'm gonna graduate college. I gotta pick a road, right? I gotta go this way and not that way, right?
hmm,
And I had a good friend that called me like a week ago. His brother hit me up on Facebook and said, "Hey, my brother wants your number." I said, "Man, cool for sure." You know, man, and he just flat out told me, he said, "Hey, Rome, man, I had to distance myself away from you because I was just in too much stuff, man, and I seen that you was going places, and I knew
hmm,
that you was doing things, and
yeah,
so, man, I didn't want to get you caught up in anything that I was doing just on accident." Whether that was just riding in the car with me and I had some stuff and now we get pulled over, now you jammed up into the situation. You know what I'm saying? And so, man, like, so, like, if you got good people around you that sees your potential and promise, they won't let you do certain things, or they would distance themselves away from you. Like in
yeah,
that situation for me, man. So, like, you like, and it's tough, but we all come across decisions that we're gonna have to make at some point. And it may be more than one decision in certain parts of our life that we really got to decide whether do we really need or want to do this, or what are we losing, what are we sacrificing, what are we putting at risk. And we only get one life to live that we know about, right? That we understand. We get one of these. And so, you have to pick, how you want to live it. And you have to pick like the consequences and the risks. And I'm a risk taker. I love taking risks. I don't mind taking risks, but all of those risks, I don't want to risk something that'll put me potentially in prison for the rest of my life.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? I don't want to consciously make that decision. Things can happen in life that puts you in an awkward situation, but I don't want to constantly make my mind up and say, hey, I'm gonna do this that can land me here. I don't want to take that risk. But some people do, unfortunately. Or fortunately, it just depends on the situation. You know what I'm saying? But like, we all gotta just think about what we want for ourselves and put ourselves in a position that is going to be able to get us to those points and those goals, and just having people in your life that is going to help you be able to achieve those things and put positivity in your life. And sometimes our environment doesn't give us those people a lot of times, or a lot of those people. It might not even be your immediate family, but it's like you got to try to figure it out, especially when you get to the point to where you can decide right from wrong and kind of make your own decisions, man. And like, trust me, it wasn't like I've done my share of fair of just wrong, but I had to, again, like, had to come to a choice. Like, I had to, like, hey, I'm not trying to do this no more. Like, this is not for me. I'm trying to do something else.
Mm.
And man, that's like, but I had good people around me, man. And you gotta be a judger of character too. Not judge people, but you gotta take people's character for what it is and
Mm.
decide if this is a type of character and energy that I want around me for what I'm trying to do. And so sometimes we get it right, sometimes we get it wrong. People can
Mm.
fool us. And so it's just kind of part of life, man. And yeah, man, I just like, if you're a high school student, if you're a person that's just trying to figure out, hey, I don't want to be in this situation. I want something better. Like, acknowledging that and just start seeking out people. Just come out to people and say, hey, I don't want to do this no more. How can I get out of this? And hopefully it works out for the best, man. And reach out to people, email people, text people, like, just do whatever you gotta do.
Mm.
Yeah, man, they're just, it's so different. It's so difficult because to give like a really, like, it is no perfect answer, because everybody, as you know, everybody's unique situation is different, and some people
Mm.
have certain people and tools in their life than others. And so it's just about, if you know you're doing wrong and you don't want to do wrong, don't do it. Just, and I know that might be hard for some people, depending who's listening to this. But like, you just got to take that risk, no matter what people gonna say about you, talk about you, whatever. Like, at the end of the day, a lot of that stuff, it doesn't even matter. Just think about high school, Garrison. Like, a lot of that stuff don't even, it's not even applicable. Once
Right.
you literally after you graduate, none of that stuff. A lot of times,
Mm.
that social stuff, that social things
Yeah.
that don't even matter. That it doesn't
Yeah.
even
It's
matter,
wild.
man. But as teenagers and young adults, like,
Yeah, you get
a
so
lot of times,
consumed in it.
that's how we think that's life for that particular moment,
Mm.
right? But it's like, nah. Once you graduate, everybody, it doesn't matter.
Yeah, man. It sounds like that. Sounds like you got a good friend, the one that you told about distancing yourself. So that story just like
Man,
gave me chills, and for him to call you like 10 years later or
man,
something,
man, and
tell you
it's
that.
been like, it's
Wow.
been hella years, like
Mm.
like crazy, and like, he's doing well. You know what I'm saying? For me, I
Wow.
was like, man, I'm just glad you're healthy and that you're alive and that you're free,
Mm.
like, that you're not behind bars. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? And for him to say that, it's just like, and so even for me, it's like being able to be a voice, being able to be a symbol for people that I know that I could have ended up just like, but I
Mm.
was able to, like, for whatever reason, made it out and didn't
Yeah.
get caught up, man. And so being able to be a person that can literally speak and be like, I've done this, like, I've been a
Mm.
part of this, like, I know. But hey, like, I was able to make it out, and now I'm here and be able to be like, man, I know exactly what you went through, or people that's gone through, and I got to do it for them too. Like I'm saying, when I went to China, like, it was like amazing. Like, I was getting letters from people, like, in the pen, like, that I knew, that, like, I was like,
From
yeah, from like right, yeah, like, just imagine that, like
mm.
like like being able to get a just imagine what that does for people that's a friend of somebody that's in the penitentiary. One, that you're able to write a friend that lives in China, but two, receive a letter
Wow.
from China from somebody that you grew up with that lives in China and be able, like,
Yeah.
right? You know what I'm
Damn.
saying? Like,
Mm,
exactly, right? And so, like, man, that snail mail and that stuff matters. And then check this out, Garrison. Now, fast forward, be able to write parole recommendation letters for your those same friends.
shit.
Like those type of things, being able to use the things that I've been able to do that's rooted in
Mm,
community and use it to vouch for people that I grew up with and know and say, hey, give this person another chance. Hey, let this person
wow.
come home to their family and their kids, right?
Mm,
Being able to do that. So like, man, that's why like it's so deep, man. But it's like, man, but it's not nothing I brag on. It's not nothing like I'm
yeah.
like I just
Right.
like it's something I just do that I know that I can use whatever power that I have, whatever influence that I have that I can use and put it and type it up and hopefully bring one of my friends home or be able to give them another opportunity, right? Or anybody, not even a friend, might
Mm,
just be somebody that just need help,
yeah.
and I can put my name on something that can mean something.
Yeah. I mean, and there's these obvious, impacts that you're having, but I'm sure there's, hundreds or if not
Right.
thousands of people and circumstances where you're this, you may not reach out, but, you're this
Yeah.
beacon of change for them. And,
Yeah.
I've had similar situations like that with being 5 years sober now, or
Yeah.
people like, it's like, you don't really know how many people you're actually impacting. Um,
Right.
so,
And like that's like just that journey in itself, man. Only you and other people that had to walk that, right, and be
mm,
like go from not being sober to now being completely sober for 5 years, man. I know that ain't easy. Like I
right.
know that wasn't easy the first week, the first year. You know what I'm saying? I know that, and it still may not be easy, but like, man, just being able to like, at this point, you're not just doing it for you; you're doing it for a whole other people that are trying to make that journey and that transition to soberness, right? You know what I'm saying? So it's just
Right.
like, man, like those man, those things are not easy, man. Those things is like, cause it's like starting something and finishing something is two different things.
Wow. Yeah.
Starting something and finishing something is two different things, man. And if we
Right.
just think about this,
Mm,
guys. If we just took life based on the things that we started versus the thing that we finished, that we said we want to finish, man. Like, right, I'm telling you, man. I bet a lot of people started way more things that they finish.
mm,
Like, it's just from a just simple as like I'm gonna drink water for 6 months.
yeah.
You know what I'm saying? When did you lose? Like you like just those type of particular things, man. And so I always commend anybody that starts some things and finish it, no matter how small or
Mhm.
no big, because man, it takes discipline. It takes doing something that you
Yeah.
may didn't even really want to do, but you did it anyway. Like man,
Yeah.
and that's how greatness. That's how you become great, man.
Mm,
You know how many times I don't want to like go through and do timestamps on a video? You know how many times I don't
mm,
want to like like I don't be want to just do this all the time every day, even though I like it and I love it. It's like some days I'll be like, I do not really want to do this interview. You know what I mean?
right. Just
I do
want to
not
learn the
right.
couch.
I do not really want to, but once you do it, you know what I'm saying? You ever not done something and just felt sick, like
Yeah.
like you lost, like man, I just like your soul was took. You know
Mm,
what I'm saying? Like, man, why did I give in? Like, why like I don't want to feel that. You know what I'm saying? You doing that to
mm,
yourself. You know what I'm saying? But you get another day to wake up and like be better. Like Lord willing, right? You wake up, you can be better. And so, man, that's how I try to put in things, man, and just congratulate anybody that has started something but completed something.
mm.
Because it's easier said than done, man.
And most times, what I've noticed too is when you don't want to do something and then you do it, you end up with way more energy afterwards than you did beforehand.
Like going to the gym and all
Mm.
those things, man, is like, yeah, yeah, for
Yeah, I
sure.
see. I see you waking up at 5 a.m.
Man, hey, I mean,
and doing that,
in
right?
my like because like this is in my like so I don't really tell people this often, man, but this is in my mind. Like, I want to be the best at what I'm doing, right? Like,
Right.
whether I like said a lot of like brag. Like I want to be the best that I can be, but I look at it like I want to be the top. Now, when we talk about social change, when I'm all saying that, when we talk about social change and who impact the community on a global scale, I want to be at the top of that list. You know what I'm saying? Like I want to be able to change how that looks like, you know what I'm saying, in general, like how the Michael Jordan changed how the shoe, like Nike, like I
Right.
want to be that type of impact, but in community, right? You know what I'm saying? And so when I think about all of that, I think that's why I'm in the gym at 4 or 5 o'clock in the morning. Because
Right.
I'm like, I need to be doing something different that I know people in my capacity ain't thinking about.
Hmm.
They're not thinking about in this particular way, right? I want to be ripped up, cut.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like I want to like I
Yeah,
want to
it's
be
true.
like, hey, I want Nike to be like, yeah, we need to give him a social change shoe. You know what I'm saying? Like I want that.
For
Like
real.
if you're out there doing social change, you need to be wearing this particular shoe because this is
Mm.
what it means because this person is wearing it and step into that shoe.
Yeah,
Like
that's what's
that's
up.
that's the level that I'm trying to get to, Garrison. Right?
I
That's what I
love that.
want to be able. I want to be able to walk down the street. People like, damn, like you're impacting community at the highest level I've ever seen anybody do it.
Thing.
Right? And then encourage and hopefully inspire other people to do it in their community
Mm.
on some type of scale. That's what I'm trying to accomplish. That's what I want to do on a global scale around the world. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? See a black man in your community and knowing that they're there to impact it in a positive way.
Right.
Right?
And you impact. Here's you. You impact these people. We're impacting these people,
I
and
want to bring community with me.
right.
You know what I'm saying? I want to be accessible and bring community with me in each and every level of that. You know what I'm saying? Like how Michael Jackson or whatever impacting people who want to perform and do pop music and all that on
Hmm.
a
So,
social
yeah.
perspective level. Like, man, if I can just be like, you know what I'm saying, Jerome when it comes to impacting my community, that ought to be that's the impact that I want to have, man. You got to be able to do the work to do it, but you just got to be good to people, man. Like you got to just be
Hmm.
able to be good and just do the work and just do it in a different dynamic way, do it in a cool way, man. And like you
Doing
just
it your
gotta,
in your own way.
and do it in your own lane, man. I'm just staying in my lane and doing it my
Mm.
way, but I'm not trying to be anybody else. I'm not
Mm.
trying to recreate the wheel. I'm trying to just do my own thing and do it in my own unique way, using my lived experiences, bring community with me, but also be a listener and a learner from those that are in community as well. So learning from you and others or whatever that may be, and bringing people together, man. And so if I can just do that at the highest level possible, I'll be cool. I'll be all right. You know
Yeah,
what I'm saying?
you're
I'll
doing
be,
it,
and
man.
that's why I'm an explorer of social change.
Mm.
Because if we can just start there, if I can just encourage you to explore, you're gonna find something. Usually, when you
Right.
explore, you find something, right? But if we don't even start exploring, if we just stay in our own kind of just comfortable uh
Mm.
circle, community,
Bubble, yeah.
island, silo, whatever, if we're not exploring, like it's gonna be really hard for us to be able. We're gonna stay. Our perspective is gonna be limited. It's gonna be
Right.
restricted. But we can start exploring. And then if I can start, if even better, if I can use the power of media to help you explore with me,
Mm.
boom. If I can use the
Mm.
if I can use the media to help you explore with me, oh, this is what Garrison is doing. This is his story. This is how he done it. Garrison, now you didn't went up. Now you didn't help build community,
Mm.
right?
Yeah, you lift each other up. You take your platform
I'm now I'm
and advance
amplify. I
everybody.
just want to amplify you. I want to turn you
Mm.
up a little bit. You know what I'm saying? It's like a Drake feature. I want to give you a Drake feature. As soon as you
Yeah.
oh snap, that. But that's how like Drake had to be so great that when now he didn't whenever he hops on a song, people
Right.
automatically associate greatness with that artist
Wow.
or impact, right? And so that's what I want to accomplish on a community
Mm.
level, all sending the community. Oh man, I'm talking to Garrison. Garrison must be doing something impactful for Jerome to be interested. Let me follow him now. Oh, he
Mm.
identifies with mental health, soberness, and everything. This is his story. Oh man, now Garrison, he's influenced 10 million people who might be going through the same thing. Now they can make the transition. Now they can go 5, 10, 15, 20 years sober. You know what I'm saying?
Wow.
That's what it's all about, man. Like, what do we got to be pouring into each other? Like,
Dang.
we gotta be pouring into each other, man. And that's all I want to do, man. I just want to pour into people and just be the best at that and have the most impact at that for me. You know what I'm saying? And it looks like, and what that looks like for me, and be able to
Yeah.
do it on all levels, man. Community, politicians, activists, entertainers, thought leaders. All of those people, educate all of those people, man. Yeah.
Damn, man. Well, we started this podcast off talking about your how lucky you felt you were to be able to find your passion and your purpose and your lane, and you just saying that right now. I don't know if I've ever interviewed someone who has felt so like clear on what they're doing and where they're
Yeah.
going and exactly what you're doing, and also like tying it back to mental health.
Hmm.
You're clearly taking care of yourself if you're getting up at 5 in the morning, putting
Hmm.
those hours in, and what I see from it is that you're putting yourself first so that you can
Hmm.
help other people. Because
Hmm.
Jerome can't be that voice of change and impacting all these people if you're not healthy and you're not, mentally like energized and vitalized. Like,
And shit happens.
mm,
I could not make it tomorrow for whatever reason. So I gotta go into this thinking like I have to do whatever I need to do today, as if literally, and it's so cliche. It's like, hey, like work like it's no tomorrow. Like I don't think people really understand how the no tomorrow part is real. like people leave this earth every day,
right,
right? Not expecting to. And so I think like that urgency, right? I'm never in a rush. Like I don't rush what I'll do. I don't try to be. I want to do it right. I don't really want to do it fast. I want to do it right. But also I understand the urgency of doing it right.
mm,
Right. And so people like if people really just understood that, man, death is literally right around the corner for any one of us. We can all go do a physical and say, hey, you got 3 months to live because you got a rare tumor disease.
mm,
That could happen out of nowhere. And then we think like, damn, what did I do in the last 30 years of my life? And what did I do? And what do I do with the next three that I got left? Right. And so, man, we really got to be urgent and put ourselves in these situations and understand the reality that, man, we out and tomorrow is not promised. People get in car accidents, people choke, just the weirdest things. And man, and that's what I try to think about. And at the end of the day, like right now, if I was to just not make it tomorrow, I, of course, just due to lack of time, I didn't be able to check off everything off my like to do list. But like, I wouldn't be upset. I wouldn't be mad, man.
yeah,
I'd be like, man, like, I would have something for my son to know, like, damn, okay, like my dad was on this path, and
right,
like the only thing that stopped him was literally time.
well,
That's what we battling. Time is my only competition. Like just hopefully my time is not, cut short for what I want it to be. You know what I'm
right,
saying? To do the things that I want to. But man, like that's how I think, Garrison, man. Like I just we on a race against time because tomorrow is not promised, and I want to make sure I'm the best human being that I can be each day. But also, man, illuminate that into other people and my energy. No matter if I'm pulling up through a food restaurant and just greeting a cashier or waiter, or just
yeah,
open the door for somebody, man. I just want to illuminate good energy, man, and positivity because, man, we all got to go through this craziness of a world that we live in, man. And I want to at least be some type of beacon of positivity in it for the people that I interact with.
yeah. You're doing it every day.
Yeah, man, I try, man. I try. Like it's like it's just like it don't. I get mad, I get upset, I get angry, but it's like all about navigating those emotions that we're gonna naturally come across. How do I respond to somebody making me angry? How do I respond with somebody making me irritated? Like I can let me internalize it. Let me say, oh man, Garrison is really pissing me off right now. Huh, but I don't have to. But I don't have to be disrespectful. I don't have to be. You know what I'm saying? Like
Right,
I can internalize it. I can deal with it. Return and be like, man, that's not really that big of a deal. And then
yeah,
I can just say, hey, Garrison, no worries, man. Talk to you later. Whatever it may be.
yeah.
Learn to navigate that mentally, man. And
That's a
really is
skill.
it, yeah, it's
You
a
got to work
skill.
towards that. Right.
It's a skill. It's a muscle.
Yeah,
But
seriously.
you gotta work out over time. But if you're not intentionally trying to work out that muscle, it's not gonna be strong, right? And you can be taken advantage of emotionally, and people can kind of get you out of your own kind of lane and your intentional character, you know. And now they have power over you because they can dictate and control. Oh, I know Garrison to fly off the rim. Okay,
Mm,
I know one of his kinks in his armor. He doesn't know how to control his emotions.
huh,
You know what I'm saying? And so like we have to be able to, to be able to one recognize that, and then once we recognize it, work on it. And so man,
right.
I just been working on that, man. Like for many years now, and just not verbally, writing on
Mhm.
that as far as writing, and how I communicate. Like man, you gotta just work on all these things, man. And hey, it takes time, but like once you recognize it, just like anything, you want to work on something, just become the best you can at it, and just get better, man.
Yeah, I love that. That's yeah, a lot of
Yeah.
a lot of wisdom in this podcast, man.
Hey, man, we all I look like you don't understand, man. I'm gonna have to bring you on because now, like, I don't. I've known people that have had like alcohol problems or just
Mm,
not being able to stay sober with any other type of like whether it's any other type of drug, whatever it may be, right?
right.
But I've never experienced it in my life. So I don't know personally, I don't know
Yeah,
what those kind of that road to recovery is.
right.
Like so I mean I would love to unpack that with you. Like
Good.
and like really go through dissect that, and you can help me understand like what is it like when you decide I like just wake up one day and say, hey, like I want to be sober.
Mm.
You know what I'm saying? like
Yeah,
why today, not the next day or next week? Like, right? It's
right.
like
You
I
can
want to
definitely
be,
go for an hour or so
yeah,
on that.
right. But like that's what I'm
One word
curious.
answer there.
No, but
Yeah,
that's what I'm curious about. But man, like I
mm,
think people need to hear those stories and
mm,
testimonies as many as possible because as you know,
yeah,
like people are struggling with those type of things, and it's like and everybody's struggles with it differently, right?
totally.
And so man, so that's yeah, so man, that's what I like to explore. To me, that is community power building content. If
It's the We Not I, the We Not
yeah,
I podcast. You know,
yeah, it's the we not I. Yeah,
went through it, but like I didn't go through it alone, and
man, we
we
don't,
we all go through similar
man,
things, and that's it's all about sharing stories and helping people out, and people
man,
taking one piece out of it if they need it, or a couple.
man. Just imagine, man. Just imagine if like that was the majority of the content that we seen every day.
Oh my god, on your feed,
No, I'm saying just in general,
they're
just in general, like just imagine if we could,
mm,
just imagine if we could filter. We can't even filter our feed that specifically, but just
yeah, just
imagine if
stuff
we
on
could
TV.
filter. Yeah, just can filter. These are the stories. This is the content that I want to see and watch every day. Man, you know what they'll do for people's mental health?
Yeah,
You know that
this is the type of music I'd want. These are the radio stations. These are
music. This is the talk shows. These are podcasts. This is the television stations.
mhm,
You know what I'm saying? Like, man, we have a healthier world.
for sure.
Yeah, for sure. But it's
I
like,
I,
man,
I draw the metaphor to food a lot. It's like you eat really good food, you feel really good. Same thing with information.
hmm
If you're ingesting negativity and bad things and
yeah,
comparing, same
yeah,
stuff.
yeah, man, for sure. And that's why I like, man, I like shows like Dual Survival and like Dirty Jobs and like even like just stuff like that where people are showing you how to navigate
Mm,
like situations. You know what I'm saying? Or what people are doing that is impacting and pouring into your daily life, right? Like that's the stuff I like, man. Like yeah, man. It's just and so for me, it's like, man, I just need to. I just get to that point, man, where I can't wait till like I can just. It won't even be like work, man. Where I'm really just traveling the world and just really exploring and getting it on film. That's it. This is getting
yeah,
it on film All of these
Staying curious.
amazing people and projects that are happening that are all community based and centered,
Mm,
and that people that can replicate in or do or pour into in their community wherever they live at,
yeah.
and do that at the highest level on a frequent level, and just pour that back in, and just do that, man. Like just that's all. That's it. It's so simple. You know, it's
I
so
love it.
it's so simple, man, and just being able to do that, man. So yeah, man, I can't wait, man.
Yeah, me too. Man. I mean, you're already doing it. You're
Yeah,
there.
yeah, true, true. Yeah, true,
We
true.
I have been ending the podcast on like a signature question, but I'll morph it a little bit for you. But
Okay.
like in I normally ask like for all around health, like if you were king of the world for a day, what would you do? But
Mm,
we've talked about, solution based, uh, yeah, solutions for a community. So narrowing it down to like Nashville or your community, or you can choose to say
yeah.
even like the Black community for mental health. Um,
Hmm.
if you could change one thing or like flip a switch, what would you do?
Man, you know what I would do, man? This is gonna seem out the box in a way, I think, to most people, but for mental health, if I could do anything for the like it can like it's nothing wrong. I'm all about doing things exclusively for the Black community, but I think this goes off like all people. uh, if I could just grant people a year or two, like living in another country,
Hmm.
right? And when I say living in another country, living at a good standard, healthy living, whatever they and wherever they want to, right? Wherever they want to. So they can just get that experience of like interacting like intentionally and being immersed in just a whole nother culture and having to like learn and kind of use muscles and
Hmm.
things they like typically don't have to use or may not even think about using. Man, that would be one of the things like that I would really want to do. Probably in particular for our youth, especially when it
Oh,
comes to mental health. Yeah, man. I just think one being subjugated for whatever reason to living in one country or state your whole life,
hmm.
that's not living, man. Like passports should be like birth certificates. Everybody should just get one once you're here. Like they shouldn't even cost,
Yeah.
right? Um, but man, I think if people could travel and just live in another place, man, that's one of the things when I think they help my mental health the most is being able to live in a country in or countries, right, that I wasn't subjugated to the same type of discrimination, racism, uh, history of the United States as a Black person. And no, it's crazy. One of the wildest things that I heard through intentional discussion about what is the difference between being black and white, living being a Black American and a white American living in China, was the mental health. Even as a white person, it's like not having to be consumed or think about maybe what I've done, what I'm perpetuating, what I'm
Hmm.
involved in when it comes to being white and whiteness and how that affects Black people in particular. Not having to have that on my mental every single day, not
Hmm.
even through the actions that I've done personally, just through what just white people have done.
Yeah.
Like that blew my mind away, Garrison, because I didn't think
Hmm.
that like that weighed on white people's mental health. Why
Hmm.
would I?
Yeah.
Right? But it's like, wow, that blew my mind. And so living outside of the United States for white people was actually like a mental health like reliever. And so like, man, so
Hmm.
I just think, man, just living outside of your home country, man, could just do a lot, I think, for your mental health and allow you to see things from a different perspective. And also, like just be able to help you socially, emotionally, man, in so many things. And learn how to navigate those things in a different way because you're not having to respond to it or be, kind of proactive about it every single day, man. So that's what I do, man. Free passports for everybody, and Go travel abroad for a year or two, live abroad a year or two, your country of choice, man.
Yeah, I dig it. It's so true. Like you get put in an uncomfortable position. You have to learn. You have to grow. You have to adapt and do these new skills. Uh, but
Yeah,
it
man.
was a great
Yeah.
answer.
Yeah, man. Man, I just want I just really just want people to explore, man. Like, after you explore, if you don't like what you see, if you don't agree, cool. Perfect. Hey. But like
Just
it's
it automatically will give you a new
yeah,
perspective, right?
it has to. I'm telling you, it has to. And that's why, man, like, and I think too that's part of the reason why I don't talk a lot, opinionated talk a lot,
Mm-hmm.
because most people that I'm in communication or with or around me, man, they've lived in one place their whole life. And so it's like
Yeah, it's hard to have
it's hard.
a
It's like
multi-dimensional
yeah, it's
conversation.
like man, it's like man, I like yeah. So it's like, and I don't want to be that person that be like, look, man, you've only, what I'm
Mm.
saying,
Yeah,
because that's how naturally I think it would come off. Like, man, look, you've only lived in one place your whole life. Like, why? How are you gonna tell me? How are you even gonna talk about perspective?
yeah,
You
very
literally
tough.
lived in one country
Mm.
your whole life. One region your whole life,
Yeah,
and you think like you figured out like so yeah, man. So it's just one of those things, man, where I think I just rather just sit back and be like, damn, people just got out more, and you can start domestically and then go abroad, but man,
yeah,
and that's why I always be continuously from this point on in my life, man. I'm always be an explorer, man. I'm gonna find a way to explore something, because I don't want to ever be just stuck in the same mindset. I want to be able to think for myself on various levels, and the only way to do that, man, is you got to get out there and explore some stuff. You can't read everything in a book. You can't read everything on TV. And
right.
I'm privileged enough that I have the ability to travel, the financial ability, the physical ability,
Mm.
mental ability to be able to do that. So, man, I'm gonna do it
Yes,
and
stay
take y'all with
curious.
me.
I love that. Well, so what? I know you got your book coming out. Do you want to share a little bit about that and kind of
Yeah,
what's next
man.
for Jerome as we close out?
Yeah, man. One again, man. I just appreciate you for your time, man, and give me the opportunity to just vent and just just
Yeah,
talk, man. But
these tend to be like therapy sessions
yeah,
sometimes.
man. No, I appreciate your time, man, and just again, kudos to you, man, and just keep doing what you're doing and impacting the people that you're
Appreciate it.
impacting. Just not in the mental health space, but just in the humanity space. Man,
Thank
if
you.
people want to follow up with me, man, just my Twitter is Jerome L Moore, Facebook Jerome L Moore. If you want to do my platform stuff, Deep Dish Convos, Facebook, Instagram, Twitter. Deepdishconversations.com is the website where it'll take you to everything. I just had my first debut book released on May 15th, called Deep Dish Conversations, Voices of Social Change in Nashville. So man, the takeaways is it's inspiring people to explore their community. It's inspiring people to work locally but think globally, because most of these things are affecting people on a global standpoint anyway.
Mm.
But also just identify the people, man, that's in your community that's doing the work, because they're there. So go check it out. You're gonna hear different perspectives, different voices of people in different areas. Talking about from prison to policing to abolitionists to education to elected officials to organizers to entertainers. Like, you're gonna get a wide range of perspectives and how they all kind of affecting change in their own unique way, and what that looks like and what that means. And so go get it. You can go Amazon it. You can get it off of the publisher is Vanderbilt University, Vanderbilt Press. Yeah, I love to. If you want to talk more about it, I love to come and speak at your school or church or your job, wherever you got people, wherever there's community, I'm willing to come do that community engagement through the book and just and have solution based discussion, and yeah, that's me. So feel free to reach out. Again, deepdishconversations.com, Jerome L. Moore, Deep Dish Convos is the hashtag on any and everything. And again, Garrison, I appreciate your time, man, and keep doing what you're doing, man.
Yeah, thank you so much. Appreciate you sharing and coming on and building community one day at a time, one step at a time. And
Hey, man.
it's amazing to keep
Yeah.
watching you grow. And you're already the Michael Jordan of social change, I think. So
Hey,
keep
man,
it up.
it's a
It's
hey.
more people. It's gonna
Hey,
happen.
man, hey, I'm like right now. I must be Michael Jordan in '84. 85. I'm a rookie. I gotta win some championships, man. I gotta get some. I gotta get my Scottie Pippen and my Phil Jackson, man.
That's right. Yeah.
Oh man, but
Fresh into the league.
yeah, right, exactly. But nah, man, I appreciate you, man, and again, just keep doing what you're doing, man. I think I told you this before, man, but I want to just emphasize it here so people know, man. I understand that like for white man right now, for white
Yeah.
straight man right now, life is life. And I know it can be you can be hesitant on maybe what you want to speak on or what you want to address or just your opinion, right? But I
Mm.
think, man, like it's you have to continue using that privilege that comes with just being a white man in the world, just not in the United States, to have these conversations, man. But also ask questions and let people know, like, hey, you don't know everything. Can somebody pour into me? Which I know we've had this discussion. But man, keep being that beacon, man. Keep doing that. Keep having those discussions, man. And like, man, just keep like, as long as you're genuine, and
Yeah.
long as you know are trying to be constructive, and build, and we all gonna make mistakes, white, brown, yellow, green, purple, whatever you color you identify as, right? But man, but that's how we grow, man. And just I want to just say that to you, man, because like I know you're doing that, and just through our previous conversations, man, I know like it can be difficult trying to figure out what to speak on, what to say on. But man,
Mm.
speak on it, say on it, stay on it, man. As long as you're being genuine and down to earth and honest, and and doing it from a place of learning and curiosity, man, what more could people ask
Mm.
for? So I want to just leave that with you, man.
Yeah. Thank you for saying that. It means a
Yeah,
lot.
yeah, man.
Yeah. Awesome, Jerome. Well, thank you so much.
Yeah, for sure, man. Thank you, man.
Yeah. It's been an honor, and look forward to more deep conversations between us, and
Yeah.
all
Hey,
that
man.
stuff.
Anytime, man. And hey, man. If you can help me get up on them skates and hit that slap shot, man, I'll be forever in your debt.
Yeah, we'll shoot some content on the ice.
Yeah, man. Hey, that'll be. Hey, just a quick tap.
Bring a pizza out there.
Hey, man. Look, hey, I'm with it. I'm with it, man. I'm with it, man. Because what y'all there's usually a fish out there. Take the fish out and throw the
Oh yeah,
piece on the ice.
catfish.
Yeah, you know what I'm saying.
uh, Garrison and Jerome live from Bridgetown.
Hey, hey, look, hey,
Right in the
get
middle
the
of
press on the horn, get them.
it.
You know what I'm saying?
Stuff, man. Well, thank you everyone for listening. We Not I podcast.